Welcome to Yo ND Raps. We're on the eve of history for Notre Dame football. I'm Jeff. I'm joined with Mike. Frank, our normal third leg, if you will, is in South Bend being a third leg out there to witness this historic moment in Notre Dame football that we're about to embark on tomorrow. Mike, how excited are you for tomorrow's game? Don't go too far in depth. I'm just asking overall, the 1,000-foot view. Are you really excited for this moment?
Yeah, it's something I'll cherish forever. Um, seriously was thinking about this. This might be the worst opponent they've played in my lifetime.
In modern football,
You could argue SMU in
86
'89.
or 89.
You could argue that, but I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
this is bad. And you know what really irks me about it is not only they're playing an FCS opponent, they're now letting USC have the distinction of being the only FBS team to not have played an FCS team. So your biggest rival, you've just gifted that to them. I realize it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's disappointing. Didn't really need to do it, in my opinion. Go play a MAC school. You already, and the schedule's already soft outside of the top three. And after what NC State looked like last
Eh,
night,
it's not soft. It's not
it,
soft. Pitt's
it's not
respectable.
normal Notre Dame though.
Well, it's not Notre Dame of the '80s.
That's normal to me. That's normal
Yeah.
to me. Few things before we get started. On the episode one, I made a few mistakes. I said that in '93, Boston College lost out after they beat Notre Dame. I was correct. They did lose to West Virginia the next week. I said that they lost to Tennessee in the bowl game. They did that in '92. It's actually they lost to Virginia, or they beat Virginia in the CarQuest Bowl. Brad Otten and Kyle Watchholtz were both quarterbacks for the '95 USC game, so we weren't wrong about that. And we said that '95 Northwestern lost to Toledo. It was Miami of Ohio. So I wanted to go look it up because you know who lost to Toledo? Purdue in '97 before they beat Notre Dame did. Joe Tiller's first year, and that's what
Mm.
I got it confused with. So yeah, figured not that anyone cares, but
It doesn't
Mike,
change the narrative.
what do you know about Tennessee State? I'm not talking the football team. I mean as the institution. Besides them being FCS, is there anything you know about them?
I know absolutely nothing. I didn't even
I
look
looked
into
up a
it.
few things. You know their nickname?
They're like bulls or something, or
Tigers.
tigers. Okay.
They're in Nashville. Did you know that?
Nope.
They're in Nashville.
And I was in Nashville, and I don't know that.
I've been to Nashville too, and I didn't know it till I looked it up. But 7,600 undergrads, 1,540 graduate students. But some of I went through some of their notable alumni. Dominique Rogers Cromartie,
Oh,
Anthony Mason from the Knicks,
oh,
who I loved. Ed Too Tall Jones, awesome one. Richard Dent, another great one.
oh! They have more
Young
Hall of Famers than most D1 colleges.
Texas A&M, they got more
Yeah,
than A&M.
yeah.
Um, Young Buck from G Unit, and yo, guess who else is a proud Tennessee State alum? This one shocked me.
No
Oprah.
idea. Oh, no
Oprah.
kidding. Oh, she
Yeah.
better be at the game tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking. How could she not give a shout out? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Oprah is TSU alumni, so I thought that was awesome. I knew they would have a good list.
yeah.
I was expecting a little more from football, but dude, Young Buck and Oprah, boom. That's
Richard Denton had Too Tall Jones. What else?
all right. I'm just getting off football for a second. Anthony Mason, that guy,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. So I thought that was really cool. But all kidding aside here, we're not going to get too far in depth with this one, but just overall, what are you expecting tomorrow? What do you think? Anything you're looking to get out of this game besides out injury?
Everyone needs to play. They need to get reps. Reps. They got a lot of reps last week. They played a lot of people. I mean, literally everyone should play tomorrow. But they'll be able to score whatever they want. And that's not a knock against Tennessee State. They're not a good football team even at their own level.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not an elite team even at their own level. So
Yeah, which is even more damning to Notre Dame. Like, if you're going to do that, at least go get somebody good.
Just keep it
I don't know.
FBS. Just
Yeah, keep it
just keep it
FBS.
FBS. I don't
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, my thoughts are pretty much
I
the
mean, it's Eddie George. They're buddies. I understand where this is at, and Tennessee State's going to get paid, and it'll make their year. I get the game, but
I'm not
I
hating on
don't know.
TSU. I'm not
I kind of
understanding.
am. You're. I always believed, the people that are against these payoff games. You are putting those kids at risk. This is not. This is like when we coached those 5 and 6 year olds at Cumberland Valley, the B team. That we didn't have the other teams we were playing didn't have B teams,
We're A
and the kids
teams.
were or they didn't have B teams. We played all A teams. Well, we had kids that could have gotten hurt that we chose not to play
Yeah.
because of that. It's
No,
the same deal.
absolutely. They'd get other kids hurt too.
Yeah.
For real. Like missing a block, you're gonna get another kid roughed up. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Just get out of the game unscathed. Get a bunch of kids playing time. Um, just pound them. They're not. I don't think Notre Dame's gonna embarrass them. Obviously, we have the Ohio State
They,
link there,
they might
but
not
it
have a
might be
choice.
inevitable. Right. So,
Yeah. Would you rather them score or Rusty Setzer running out of bounds? Honestly, that may happen tomorrow.
Rusty Setzer.
That
what
may
uh,
happen.
what is your final score prediction? There is no spread that I've seen, so let's just go with a
Because
prediction.
they're
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
FCS.
I think it's gonna be 66-6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go like 52-3 is
I,
what
I
I'm
feel like 52's the 50s I felt safer with, but I'm counting on they may not have a choice but to hang 60 on. It just
right.
may be that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I think
Um,
they'll try and keep it in the 50s though, as much as they can.
so everyone who tuned in got free money last week by listening to us with our lock. We all unanimously picked Notre Dame to cover versus Navy, the 20.5, which of course they did 42-3. So with a full slate this weekend, which game are you picking as your lock of the week against the spread?
Well, we're going to pick the same one, only because I truly believe it's easy money, and to stay consistent with the 20.5 point spread, it's Penn State.
Yeah, no,
They're going to. West Virginia is a bad football team.
a very bad team. And Penn State's a good team.
Yeah,
As much as I don't like them, I'm not going to hate on them like that. They are a good team.
yeah.
And then you add on top of it being in Happy Valley at night. And dude, I think Penn State leads the series 48-9 versus West Virginia.
Well,
I
that
mean,
could.
it's incredibly lopsided. If that's not the exact number, I'm not far from it. But I'm pretty sure it's 48-9.
I think
And
tomorrow night's going to be incredibly lopsided.
yeah, they're just not a good team. I honestly was sitting there thinking, I'm like, would Navy beat West Virginia?
No, no. Unless no, because Navy can't even run the option effectively.
Yeah, Navy just played right into our hands last week, so the coaching was terrible. But this is year 5 for Coach Brown at West Virginia. He's got to get something done, and
Right.
I just don't see it starting tomorrow night. So I'm with you. Penn State 20.5 all the way. I know
I,
Frank is as well.
I
So
like Clemson a lot
over Duke?
to cover the 13.
Why? So I have, and this leads us into our next one. Don't leave that thought. I was just going to ask you, what other games do you have interest in? And of course, we're shooting this right now on Friday afternoon, so there was games last night. So moving forward, I know there's some games tonight, obviously games Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Besides LSU and Florida State, obviously everyone's going to check that out. What other games do you have your eye on? Not to bet, just that you want to interested in, see what's going on.
The Clemson Duke game, obviously LSU Florida State. God, I hope the Noles win that. Um, but outside of that, it was last night's games. Um, Florida did not disappoint. I mean, just
They're
out
starting Graham
executed.
Mertz.
Just dude, he was their best player.
Yeah, the question is, where's the AP going to rank Florida this week at 0-1?
Probably like eighth, ninth.
16th. That was a tough loss. Um,
Without their starting quarterback, they had 5 starters out, I think, Utah.
yeah,
Including
no Rising, and a kid
Cam Rising. Yeah.
was huge, and that spread was 4.5, and obviously it wasn't close at all ever.
No, they got dominated. They could have beat them more.
Yeah, and they kept it pretty vanilla because of the quarterback situation and some of the other starters, which you're absolutely right. I am definitely interested in Clemson Duke, Purdue Fresno State at noon. Come
Yep,
on,
boiler up.
and they're starting that Texas transfer Hudson Card at quarterback,
Yeah.
so that'll be an interesting one. What about North Carolina versus South Carolina?
I think South Carolina's going to win because I still don't think North Carolina's going to play defense at all.
I agree, and I think Beamer is actually a really good coach,
Yeah.
Shane Beamer. So it'll be interesting, and yeah, I want to see that game as well. Other than that, though, this has like a week zero vibe to it. Like those are the only games with a
Oh yeah.
pulse. Everyone else is in Notre Dame's boat, just
Yeah.
playing no one. Um, so it's kind of a blow through week, which stinks. But even with that said, some of these spreads are huge, and now with the change in rules with the clock and everything, like man, I don't trust taking a lot of teams at 30 plus. And I watched last night Kent State and UCF. That spread was 35.5, and UCF ended up covering just because there was just too much speed.
Yeah.
I mean, they just sent someone deep. It was there. It was a touchdown. But even then, I'm like, man, that's just a huge number, especially if you want to go and run, and you got this clock rolling and rolling, with the exception of inside that 2 minutes. So,
Right.
yeah, the point of all of this is, I just think Penn State's the obvious pick.
It's easy money.
Yeah. So and for those who are like, oh yeah, we'll bet. I did, and it's on FanDuel, so I'm rooting for Penn State. Basically, either lose the game or cover the spread. I
Yeah.
don't want to see a 14-point win by Penn State. Um, is there anything else that you want to talk about here before we sign off? It's a loaded weekend, as I said, but just not a whole lot of marquee games.
Just watching Notre Dame's opponents. NC State, UConn. I don't know what they were thinking last night. At one point, they had 80 yards rushing in the first quarter, and then they just started throwing the football and turning it over. And it's like,
Go
what are you doing?
Irish!
You got someone in there trying to get in.
Yeah. It's Hollywood up here. Say it.
Go Irish!
All right.
Okay, Jackson. Did you happen to catch Nebraska and Minnesota?
I was rooting for Nebraska. I
I was
never
too.
hated, never hated Nebraska. I always liked Matt Rule, even though he went to Penn State. Um, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all
I
right.
don't know. Why do you say that?
They don't have a quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback that can throw. He can
Yeah.
run,
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback. They're going to be all right.
but they
If they don't
just
turn it over, they win that football game. That's plain and
so
simple.
obviously I don't follow Nebraska like I do Notre Dame, but I read somewhere that the kid that fumbled there, I think it was still 10-3 at that point when they were right
Yeah.
around midfield Nebraska, and he fumbled. I heard he was like a fourth stringer, and everyone's questioning why he was in. I don't know how true that is, but he was not the starter. But just think of the amount of bad plays and just everything
Yep.
going against Nebraska that happened. And it's, you always hear that saying, it's in their head, and it's so true. And I think Nebraska proved that last night. They won. They had that game. That kid
Yeah.
fumbles. They give up the 4th and 10 on that miracle catch by Minnesota, where what
Yeah.
a play, dragging his feet like that, and then the turnover, and you gift him a field goal.
Yep. It's just
Just
hard. You found a way to lose. They're used
found
to that. He'll fix
unbelievable.
that. He'll fix that. The guy
Yeah, I
wins
like-
everywhere.
Yeah, I like Rule. I was gonna say, if you can win at Temple, you should be a great coach. But then I think of Al Golden.
I mean, he took over a dumpster fire at Baylor.
Miami.
No, Rule.
Oh yeah. I was talking about Golden at Miami. Right.
He got a raw deal at Miami.
He did get a raw deal at Miami, so hopefully he can get that straightened out. With that, check out our other videos, everyone. We really appreciate it. Anyone that takes the time to check in with us. If there's anything you want to see or hear, leave a comment. Please like and all that other stuff that they always say in all these videos. We will be back tomorrow night after the game and just to discuss. And again, hope you guys check out the videos. With that, on behalf of Frank, who's not here, and Mike, thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Go Irish.